we're going to see something more about listening. And in that, we'll see how are these sections being created, and we'll see explanation of the same. The first thing we'll see is the troubles you have with listening. What do you mean by troubles we have with listening? I'm not questioning your listening skills. I mean your ears, the physical skills. I'm questioning your skills with English. That's the language I'm talking about. All right. So there are two main things that you should notice. The two main reasons that you can't get 9 bands, that is the highest in any module in IELTS. If you don't know, there are listening, reading, writing, and speaking. And 9 is the highest band, 1 is the lowest. So these two are the main reasons why you're not getting 9 bands in listening so far, or why you might not get in future. So if you understand the reasons or the root causes, of course, if you eliminate them, you get 9 bands. That's the main logic of knowing the reasons, yeah? So let's see the first one. The first one is we are non-native speakers. So I'm from India, right? I'm not a native speaker. My first language is not English. It's something else, right? Depending on the state and depending on my mother tongue. Hence, I will not be listening to English all the time. That is very close to our next reason, which is we are not engrossed with the language. That means I have to speak it, then I'll speak it. That's like a compulsion. This is this one. Now, when I go to work or when I go to school or university, then I'm forced to speak in the language that is English. Otherwise, at home, I use my own language, that is my mother tongue. These two reasons makes it very hard for us to, get 9 bands. Now, I cannot, get to be a native speaker suddenly, but yes, I can change at least this one. Yeah, maybe if you believe in, you're dying again and taking birth again, let's just forget about it. But if you get engrossed with the language, you can change that part. Yeah, that you agree with me. Every day, 2 to 3 hours of listening continuously will definitely change that thing. Yeah. Now, the English language is an issue. So why not solve it? Yes. Let me show you an example of how to solve it. Let's say you listen to English songs. Why the sad face? I'll tell you. When you listen to the English songs, you're enjoying the music and you're understanding 50 or let's say 60% of the lyrics of it. Why not fully? Why not 100%? The way you understand in your native language. The reason is because you can't speak English as a native speaker, right? But what if I provide you lyrics? Well, definitely your sad face will be converted to happy face and you understand 100% of the song. Hence, I would suggest you initially when you're listening to audios, always use lyrics or subtitles or any file which can be a help while you're listening to the audios. That will give you an illusion that, not just illusion, actually you'll start enjoying, the listening to the English part. Otherwise, this is like swimming. You go to the swimming pool, somebody pushes you in and you are just drowning. Just hating it because that was a bad experience. Don't just drown yourself in English, right? Try to understand some part of it and then you'll start enjoying. This is called joy of learning. And this was a concept created by Leonardo da Vinci, one of my favorite. He said, if you learn a little bit, automatically the graph goes higher once you understand it. And eventually you reach to the expertise level. So in order to make it clear, in order to learn it, you have to understand it. All right. In that case, I have to use lyrics initially or subtitles or any file that is a catalyst or that's a help. But now I don't need to because I have done this plenty of the time. Before you even start preparing for IELTS, start doing this, okay? Watch a lot of English movies. I know I'm the only trainer who's pushing you towards movies. Otherwise, all the teachers and parents say, don't watch movies, right? TV series which are good, and especially British accent TV series, why we have discussed earlier, you can see that. Yeah. Now, let's talk about sections themselves. Yeah, there are 4 different sections in IELTS. And these sections are divided. These sections are from 40 questions. Yes, there's an S missing here, by the way. When we say 4 sections, each section has 10 questions. Yes, you can see that by itself, and there'll be breaks between sections. Now, what does it mean by breaks between sections? I've explained once in previous video, and if you have not seen that, let me explain again. So there are 4 sections, right? Between these sections, they'll be taking breaks. That means they'll stop the audio and let you evaluate or let you see what's happening, what kind of question you will be bombarded with. Okay, that's what I mean by breaks between sections. Just remember 40 questions, 4 sections, and in between each section, there'll be breaks. Okay, more information about sections is the difficulty level. The difficulty level definitely going to increase with increase in section. That means with every section, it's going to go higher. Hence, section 1 is the easiest, and section 4 is the most difficult one. Okay, this you have to understand so that you get ready for the audio. If in case you don't understand the difficulty level, you might listen to the first section and say, oh, that was easy, I can get any score I want, like, I can get 40. But as section increases, you get scared, oh, this is getting difficult for me. So I have to tell you already, the difficulty level is going to increase with every section. Now, how are they going to increase the difficulty level? The first one is speed. In section 1, they're going to speak really slow, like you can understand, anyone can understand who's speaking a little bit English even. In section 2, the speed going to increase by a little bit as well. In my opinion, section 3 and section 4 has almost similar speed, and they are the most difficult one, like a non-native speaker. Talking about the next factor which makes it difficult is distractions. Now, these distractions are something which we have to see while we're understanding question types. For example, there's an audio being played and I say, yeah, I would like to buy this toy, but I have only $12 left. And the other person says, I don't think $12 will do. Oh wait, I have $12.50. Now, if in case you write this as answer, you're incorrect. So they distracted you, right? Here the correct answer is $12.50. These distractions are going to increase with increase in section. So section 1 might have some, but section 3 or 4 will have plenty of them, like more distractions and difficult one which to catch, right? So that's the second factor. The third factor is the types of questions. Let me give an example of that. Though we're going to see and practice in the same video today, but let me give an example so that you get to know what I mean by that. Let's talk about fill in the blanks. Yeah, so we have a question here and a blank here. Now, if an audio being played, it's fairly easy compared to the question called MCQs, that is multiple choice question. The reason, we have a question here and now we have 4 options. For an example, generally there are 3. Now let's say we have 3 options. You have to read the question as well as the options. Now you understand what I mean by types of questions? Here, you just have to read one statement and fill the answer according to the audio. However, in MCQs, all you gotta do is listen to the audio, read the question, read the options, and choose one of them. Of course, this is difficult, and these kind of questions are generally asked in section 3. And trust me, I have seen this is the question length and the option length is even bigger. I mean, the options are lengthier. You have to read more in the option rather than question. That makes it difficult. Yeah, this is how difficulty level increases with sections. And the last one is, in the last section, there are no breaks. So section 1 will have breaks inside them. So in section 1, we have 1 to 10 questions. Section 2 has 11 to 20. Section 3 is 21 to 30. And the final one is 4th is 31 to 40. Here they will say, please have a look at question 1 to 6. And they'll take a break. I mean, they'll play the audio and then take a break. And they say, look at question 7 to 10. Same way in here, till section 3, there will be breaks in between the section as well as in the sections. But in section 4, they'll tell you, have a look at question 31 to 40. So what are you going to do? There are no breaks, right? 10 questions being in front of you and the audio will be played for them. So this is one of the factors for difficulty level to increase. You understand how difficulty level is increasing and what are the reasons for them to increase now. Well, of course, when we practice the section question, you will see what it means by difficulty level increasing. Yeah, good. Now moving ahead, we have why sections, right? Why don't I put all the 40 questions in one go? Why do we have to divide it in 10 questions each? And like this kind of structure, why didn't I get 40 all of them? Just play the audio, I'll try to solve it. The reason for that is they want to test your listening in various contexts. Now, what is meaning of context? Context is various environments, situations, or let's say, for example, I'm talking about science and suddenly I'm talking about general topic. So science will be academic and general will be like restaurants and stuff. So in order to test your various contexts, they have to have sections. Let me caution you one more thing. In academic or general training, there's no difference in listening. That's why they have 4 sections in which they have academic context as well as general training context, both of them. So there won't be any different paper for listening. It'll be same. Okay. What I mean by context is, so we have 4 sections, 4 contexts, 4 difficulty levels, 4 contexts, and also 4 different types of questions. I mean, types will be more, but 4 different sets. So the understanding the section is important for a reason. Another reason is you will be ready for kind of audio that is being played. So I tell you, section 1, as I said, you'll be ready for that. Let me explain this more. We have section 1, right? In section 1, what happens is actually you will be hearing a conversation and between 2 people, exactly 2 people. Let's say there's a phone call. All right. So I'm calling someone and somebody is picking the call, and I'm a person who is sitting in a company and trying to get information about my clients. And I ask them, hi, am I talking to XYZ? They'll say, yes, this is XYZ. Actually, I forgot this thing in my office. How can I send this to you? They'll say, oh, I'm sorry for that. Maybe you can send it to my office address, or can you tell me your office address? Now, when this is all going on, it's always between 2 people in section 1, and it's always a conversation. Because this is a conversation and this is a slow one, it's easy to understand. Like I said earlier, difficulty level in section 1 is fairly easy. Because there's a conversation between 2 people mainly on call, the kind of question being used or kind of context being used is everyday social context. Like, I forget this thing, or I would like to get a quotation on something, or for example, I would like to book for this contest. How can I book for it? I say, oh, you can book from a website. So 2 people talking, fairly easy, and social context. Now you understand what I mean by that, yeah? Let me show you an example. Here, see, 2 people are talking here. So there's a customer, David, and there's a person who is talking to the customer. This is called form filling. Now, I've showed you an answer for a reason. I'm not playing the audio. I'll be playing the audio later in another question type. So the kind of question you might get is called form filling or MCQs maximum. Generally, form filling are the common ones. Here's the name of the person. They'll play an audio. Hi, I'm David Marshall. And when they say this name, they're gonna, of course, dictate it to you, right? Spell it for you. Marshall, Marshall. How to solve this kind of question is not the scope of this video. You will see it later. Okay. By the way, I got it from Ielts.org USA. So it's just for practice. It's not for practice, just to show you what kind of question to be used. It's not for practice here. Here we have mentioned what's the term of it. Answer is 180 days. Don't worry about this here, but what I mean to say is kind of question you asked is fairly simple and it is just form filling. Yeah. Now you have to fill forms in this kind of question, like I said, and mostly on calls. So there's a tiny problem that might happen. You might not be able to hear the voice clearly here. So I suggest you to keep the volume of the headphones which you'll be receiving in listening section a little bit higher than normal, because it's on call, right? That will be advisable for a reason. See, there are two people talking, the first person and the second one. First is the caller, and second one the receiver. The receiver you might not be able to hear the receiver person. Caller, you'll definitely hear clearly, like you see in movies. When a person calls one person to another one, they try to show you as if we are showing you the voice on the line, the voice recording of the line, same way. Hence, I would suggest you to keep the volume a little bit higher so you can hear it. All right, let's talk about section 2. In this section, there are some differences, of course, like section 1. Difficulty level gonna increase, but most importantly, we have a monologue this time. And context gonna stay the same, that is everyday social context. But what is the meaning of monologue? Earlier, we had a conversation, right? This time, monologue. Single person speaking about something related to social context. Let's take an example. A person talking about the benefits of the service station, or benefits of this railway station in the society, or anything in the city. Anything related to social context, but a monologue. Yeah, let me give you an example this time so that you get that easier for you. But before, it's fairly easy compared to section 3, but a little bit difficult than section 1. The types of question asked here are plenty, like MCQs, short question and answer, sentence completion, diagram leveling, and all those stuff, or map leveling, you can say. You have to level the map. Now, we're gonna see each question as a separate video where I'm gonna explain it to you how we're gonna solve these kind of questions. So tips and tricks are coming later. That is in the coming videos or coming sessions. Don't worry about that. And here I'm just giving you a short idea, a tiny idea that these kind of questions might come up in this kind of section, that is section 2. Now let's see an example. Here we have MCQs, right? So there's one question and 3 options. One question and 3 options, like in 11, 12, and 13, 14, 15. Your task is to listen to 11 to 15, the audio, and choose any of the letter depending on the audio. I'm gonna play the audio. You have to listen and write in your book. Okay? Let me just play the audio first.
Section 2. You will hear a woman introducing the Lunar Realm amusement park. First, you have some time to look at questions 11 to 15. Now listen carefully and answer questions 11 to 15.
Good morning, everyone. We're very pleased to have you here at Lunar Realm for our September Celebration Day. We have many smaller celebrations throughout the year for different events. I think it was 5 at last count. But the September celebration is a special day to honor the park's development, from tiny beginnings to the huge enterprise it is today. It's our most significant annual event. Come into the visitor center now. Over here, you can see a picture of the original park when it was under construction. The land was donated to the city in 1955 by the then mayor, Matthew Hardacre. But the park itself wasn't developed until 1979, and you'll notice it wasn't very big at that time. Then there was a huge growth in the 1990s, and we're still growing today. In the beginning, there were only a few small rides in the park. There were lots of other attractions in those days, including an adventure playground for younger kids. The kids loved the petting zoo with its farm animals, and in fact, that's the only attraction to have survived until now. We've still kept 2 of the original rides as an exhibit, but they're not in working order anymore. We're now one of the biggest amusement parks in the country. We've got an amazing range of amusement rides here, 43 in total this year. I think we're most famous for our roller coasters, aren't we? I guess you'll all have heard about the hurricane. That's our oldest and most famous one. Some of our visitors think it's not fast enough to be truly exciting, but we love it because it's the highest wooden roller coaster in the country. Then we have the Bobcat. That one's a bit gentler for our younger visitors. And for the truly adventurous, the Scream Machine hurls you upside down and backwards at huge speeds. It's too much for me. It's important to remember that all of our rides have age guidelines, and to help you, there's a color system. If the sign for a ride is yellow, it means it's suitable for all ages, although we do recommend that parents or older siblings go with very young children. Blue means that children younger than 14 can ride only if an adult accompanies them. And black, well, this means that you must be at least 110 centimeters tall to ride, regardless of age. We should say that no rides are really suitable for children younger than 18 months, but we do have a special section for parents with babies.
Alright, we are back now. I don't know what did you write as answer, but I'm going to show you the answer so that you can verify in your own books. These are the answers. For 11th, we have C. For 12th, B. For 13th, B as well. For 14th, A. And 15th, C. Okay? See, these MCQs are actually very short. These kind of MCQs do come in section 2. Section 3 will have also MCQs mainly, but a little bit longer one. I think you got an idea what is difficult and what is easy listening to section 2. So compared to this, section 1 is easier. If you get all the answer correct in here, most probably you'll get correct answer in section 1. But we cannot say anything for section 3 though. Yeah. Now section 3, as I said, in my opinion, actually is the most difficult one. People say section 4 is difficult, but it is not because of question type. Section 3 is a conversation and maybe 2 or 4 people are involved. Yeah, how they are involved, let's talk about it in a while. This is difficult due to mainly MCQs. See, I told you earlier, let's say this is the question and we have options longer than the questions. What are you going to do? You will take time to read the question, and by the time you're reading the options, already the audio has been played for the answer, or the hint where your answer might lie is gone. So what is the solution for that? Well, there is a tip or there is a trick kind of stuff that you can use in order to find the answer here. Don't worry about it for now. I will solve this problem for you. Yeah, you will get definitely good score in MCQs once you know how to do them. For now, you have to focus only on listening and understanding what really sections are and what might happen in each sections. All right, that would be a good idea. Go step by steps. Steps are easy. Now let me tell you what is the meaning of steps though first. So let's say these are the steps of getting to the expertise level. Initially, you don't know what you don't know. All right. Here you know what you don't know. So this is the step we are right now. You have no idea what sections are. You have no idea if we have breaks even. So that is your knowing, oh, there are breaks. Now, I didn't know this, but I know now. You practice what you know. What does it mean? I have section 1, 2, 3 told you about, now you know what you didn't know. Now you're going to practice what you know. You're going to practice the type of question we have. And once you practice, you reach the highest point, that is expertise. What if you try to jump from here to here? Not going to happen. Definitely not going to happen. The reason for that is you have no idea what's going to be asked in section 3. You have no idea if section 3 even exists. And you're going to try to be an expert. Chances are you're going to fall back here. So I suggest you go step by step, knowing everything and then trying the questions. Okay, so these videos might be lack of these videos might not have much examples, but suggest me they are required for your own, betterment. That is your better score. All right. Now I have not included any example in here. I would like to, but I don't want to. I don't want to scare you, honestly. When we're understanding each question type, I'll let you know if this question type can come up in exam or not. Okay. And this is an academic context. What is the meaning of academic context? The meaning is that you will be listening something like two students speaking. So let's say two students speaking and one professor comes and advises these two students. Or maybe just two students speaking and they're discussing, oh, I have a project, how can I solve this, how can I solve that? You have to listen to their talks and write the answers. So context will be academic, talks will be related to academic, that is study related. Yeah. All right. Now comes section 4, the last but not the least. In my opinion, this is the most interesting section. People call it difficult, but I find it a little bit easier than section 3. The only difficulty I find it is there's no break. Yeah, we'll discuss that. It's a monologue, hence a professor or an expert gonna talk about a research generally. This question has a research being dictated. So kind of a scientific paper being dictated, and you will have plenty of questions like you have fill in the blanks or summary completion kind of question. The reason it is difficult, as I said, is there are no breaks. You have to answer question number 31 to 40 in a single go. No breaks. This is where things get a little bit hazy. The reason is, see, we can't concentrate more than 5 minutes on an audio. But this will be playing for 8 minutes, 7 to 8 minutes, the last section, continuous audio. And one person is speaking. Again, this is a trouble. When two people are speaking, we can recognize who's speaking, who's not. But one person speaking on something academic, oh God, that can get boring as well as, you might lose concentration. That's the reason I call it difficult. That's the only reason. Otherwise, the question type being asked here, fairly easy. Okay. As I said, fairly easy because it's summary completion question type. You can easily find the answers. MCQs are rare. And it is academic context, that is, study related. As I said, research being spoken. So I don't think it's a big trouble for you once you know how to solve section 3. Now, when I say academic context, I didn't mean that you will be talking about rocket science or anything which you can't understand. Of course you can understand, but little bit study related things, college related or school related or anything like that, they'll be talking about that. For an example, formation of rock, what is the process? They'll talk about the process. In the question types, they'll ask you about that. Yeah. And with this, we end the chapter.